and Collovati. I feel sure England could very well have chances of some success tonight.
Well, that we shall look for. Woodcock and Birtles, who are there in the centre spot at the moment. They had years at Nottingham Forest together. Woodcock has since gone to Cologne. Let's hope that some of that city ground teamwork is still with them. And certainly Birtles, after a marvellous European Cup final for Nottingham Forest, if he can reproduce that tonight and take the tackling that he's bound to get here tonight, as he did against Hamburg in Madrid, it'll be a marvellous debut for him. He's played... And Shilton calms it down, plays it short to Sansom. Almost a replica of that goal in 1976 in a World Cup game in Rome, when a lovely cross from the left, and that time Bettega thumped the header past Ray Clements. But a danger signal there, Ron.
Yes, certainly. One of the interesting things that's happened straight away, as we thought it would, Tardelli is picking up Keegan, and it's encouraging from the English point of view that Keegan started to push on. He's gone past his strikers, and he looks as if he's going to prepare to take Tardelli all over the field.
And at the moment, Keegan playing in a right forward position, where, of course, a lot of people like to see him most. But Tardelli, the number 15, is sticking within a couple of yards of him. It's Gentile with the throw now for Italy to the number 9, Scirea, the sweeper, and back with Dino Zoff. Only the great Pachetti at fullback has played more times for Italy than Zoff. 94 to Zoff's 81. Free kick. For the foul on Oriali. So twice the Italians have threatened, but now it's Woodcock doing the threatening at the other end. Brought down, rolled over. Oriali, it's Scirea, the sweeper, who pulled Woodcock down, and a free kick for England. The game's gone off at a thundering pace, and it's been a day of blistering heat here in northern Italy. It's cooling off a little bit now because, of course, we're 1 hour ahead of you. It's just gone 8:30 in the evening here. A free kick for England, played in there. Oh, and I thought for a moment that the dummy by Kennedy might see the ball through to Keegan, but it didn't. It's with Woodcock. Another free kick, surely. Gentile on that side. Wilkins with the free kick for England. High towards Big Dave Watson, and Bettega had gone back, but there was a bit of pushing by Watson and a free kick to Italy.
Brian, England were just in a little bit of trouble there when Gentile made this break up the right-hand side. This is something he does tremendously effectively, and I feel sure that if Ray Kennedy's going to block up that left-hand side, he's going to be prepared to sort of stop those breaks.
Causio playing it forward there for Graziani. Phil Thompson. Keegan has come deep. Tardelli has gone right deep with him. It's Wilkins on the ball for England now, though, towards Woodcock, and Gentile was hard at the back of him as well. And here's Gentile again. They love to get their defenders forward. And now it's Roberto Bettega, brought down free kick. Phil Neal conceding the free kick. Here's Bettega. Oriali with it. Scirea. Keegan in quickly to challenge. Oriali again. Another free kick. That time by Coppel. 5 minutes gone and 5 free kicks. A free kick to Italy. Oriali again. Coppel shadowing him. Flicked on again, and look at the space here for Tardelli, who's come away from Keegan this time, and Watson getting in there first as Bettega closed. The Italians looking very dangerous, very sharp, and very classy at the moment. It's Tardelli again. Keegan robbing him, though, and getting a free kick. They look in a dangerous mood at the moment, the Italians, Ron.
Yes, well, twice they've seen significant things. They've attacked and gone from deep positions, and the disturbing thing from the England point of view is that the people that were around them didn't track them. They let them run, and of course they got them into good crossing positions, and in fact could have produced something more dangerous.
At the moment it's Thompson. Played here for Sansom. Well, I think we wanted to see England running at their Italian opponents. They're playing a patient game at the moment. But it's Coppel. You'll notice Neal, if he passes to him, that Neal had gone on that run down the right-hand side, but Oriali, in fact, got the throw for Italy. Bettega very deep. Causio playing it wide here for Romeo Benetti. Played for Graziani. Watson's gone with him, but his exuberance and excitement overcame him, and the throw goes to England. Kenny Sansom will take it. Towards Keegan, but Tardelli off the top of his head. Scirea sweeping up at the back there, calmly back to Zoff. Italians said to be on a bonus of £15,000 a man if they can win this European Championship. But above all, they badly need a win here tonight, particularly with the Belgians having set this game up with a victory themselves over Spain tonight. The Italians still to meet Belgium. Italy again, knocked away this time by Thompson. Collovati playing that ball. Here's Antognoni. Wide here towards Benetti. The little touch here for Tardelli. Benetti again. Graziani. Kennedy hitting it high away. Gentile. Nice skill there on his chest, playing it through.
As you were saying earlier, Brian, it's good to see Kevin pushing right up past his strikers, but that does leave us with a little bit of a problem, and as much as it creates a bit of a vacuum in midfield. And this is something that Antognoni, who's probably the best creative player in the tournament up to yet, could exploit.
Another throw to Italy, but another example of space on that far side for Phil Neal to exploit. Bettega coming deep off Thompson. Thompson winning the ball. Neal. Watson. Keegan's come to this side of the field. There's space again there for Philip Neal. Kennedy finding no space though, but still getting possession. Miraculously keeping it there. Watson with a long cross towards Keegan. Kennedy is up in an attacking position there with him, but Benetti had followed Kennedy. Collovati, number 6. Keegan. Birtles. Tardelli after him, and an Italian throw. Gentile with it. Causio. Keegan. Oh, my word. Benetti really went into that tackle, but Keegan managed to avoid him, and Woodcock couldn't avoid that one, though, and a free kick. And a yellow card on Romeo Benetti for the foul on Tony Woodcock. And if anything, I thought the one that Keegan escaped a moment earlier was probably even worse. But that is the reputation that Romeo Benetti has got. And he gets a yellow card inside 10 minutes. Ron?
Well, Tony Woodcock certainly had a hell of a start, hasn't he? That's about the third time they've already brought him down. One good thing about him, and it would need to be, his temperament's got to be seen to be perfect tonight.
Wilkins with the free kick for England. Deep towards Dave Watson on the far side. Now there could be a gap because Watson's up there and the Italians could break, but it's covered by Phil Thompson. Here's Neal. Played down the line again, and look, it's Watson who's gone up there and stayed up there. And that should be no problem for Zoff. Keegan. Kennedy playing it back in again. Birtles trying to get on the end of that one. Here's Wilkins now. A little bit of pressure this by England, but Watson couldn't keep that into play. And a throw to Italy. Still Thompson.
It's good to see, Brian, that both teams have started with a positive attitude. Obviously, Belgium's result today means that defeat will virtually eliminate the losers of this game, and it's taken on a sudden death atmosphere.
Sansom with the throw for England. Woodcock. Collovati who got it away. Kennedy. Sansom again. Here's Wilkins. Scored against Belgium here on Thursday. Gentile away. Thompson battling away. Wilkins taking possession. And that's going to be no problem for Collovati. English sub. Graziani beaten in the air by Watson. Wilkins. Kennedy flicking it back. Thompson. Woodcock. Neal. Played in towards Birtles, but they had no problem getting that one away. Here's Neal again, though, playing it in once more towards Birtles. This time he tried to knock it down towards Keegan and Kennedy, but it's Benetti playing the ball through again, and in fact it was Thompson who closed quickly, and then Watson who was able to inch the ball out here, finally coming to Kenny Sansom. Keegan, look how close Tardelli is to him again. And Tardelli's boot too high on Keegan's right ear, in fact, and a free kick to England. It's going to be Kennedy or Wilkins with this free kick for England. It's going to be Kennedy, a lazy left foot of his towards Dave Watson, and in fact it'll go to Neal on the far side. He's got time to get across him, which he does, but it's got a corner. The replay of it. And moves across there, Woodcock and Neal. Watson's up. Kennedy's in there. Keegan and Birtles. Woodcock's corner. Coppel trying to knot it back in again. It'll come for Neal. Played in high, a real up and under there, and Watson underneath it with Bettega right in there too, and it's Benetti in the end, and a foul by Watson on Bettega.
Very nice if young Gary Birtles could get an encouraging touch. He hasn't really had an awful lot of the game at the moment. I'm sure if he could get to do something really good, that would improve his confidence no end.
Zoff. Captain waiting for Gentile to... Zoff. Captain waiting for Gentile to tie his boot up. Watson versus Bettega. Watson winning it in the air. And a foul this time by Roberto Bettega. Wilkins. Bill Thompson. Bill Neal. Well, they're all hustling around there. I hope for a moment that it might have come for Woodcock, and in the end it's Benetti getting it away, showing all his experience and coolness. Tardelli. Antognoni. Tardelli again. Played long ball forward for Graziani. Well offside. The third time England have played here in the Comunale Stadium. 1948, they came here with a great old side and won 4-0 against what the Italians thought was a wonder side. Stanley Matthews scored that day, and Stanley Mortensen. They still talk about that goal here. In fact, it was mentioned in the papers again here this morning, and Tom Finney got a couple. And their old chum from ITV, Billy Wright, was playing as well in that game. 4-0, and then in 1973, they came here, the 75th anniversary of the Italian FA, and that time the Italians won 2-0. Dino Zoff played in that game, and so too did Peter Shilton, the only English survivor from that game. Graziani changing the course of things to Scirea. Antognoni, Tardelli. Causio. Gentile, born in Libya actually, at Tripoli, with the throw for Italy, and Sansom guiding it back to Shilton.
At the moment, Brian, there's an awful lot of feeling each other out going on. It's absorbing at the moment. Italy have probably had the two best situations to make things happen. England, as of yet, haven't really penetrated.
But here's Birtles, now Sansom. Little touch there for Gary Birtles as well. Placed carefully but correctly there to Wilkins, and look at the space on the far side again for Phil Neal. Coppel in there with Oriali going in on the back of him, and in fact England get a throw. Birtles. Well, there's a free kick to Italy. About 17 and a half minutes gone, no score. Clock said 19 minutes there on Italian television. That must be Italian time, believe me. It's just about 17 minutes now. Wilkins. Neal. Woodcock beaten in the air by two Italian defenders there. And it's Oriali on his way again. Played inside, and Watson to Neal to Shilton. Enzo Berzot, plenty to say, but there's little he can do. Someone's lost a boot. In fact, it's Gentile carrying his right boot in his hand. Keegan, and look at Tardelli again. A tackle from behind. Yellow card for Tardelli. Keegan in pain, and you've got a good close-up of that, and you've got also a close-up there of Sansom and Causio having a little tussle for the ball there, but a terrible tackle there by Tardelli. Causio saying, get up, you're not hurt, but my word, after a challenge like that, it had to be a yellow card, and no question, Ron.
No, when you mentioned the fact that Benetti was carrying somebody's boot, I thought for a moment it might have been somebody's leg.
Benetti might well be, but that was Tardelli, and Keegan certainly felt the weight of the Italian's tackle on the back of his legs there. Free kick to England. Two yellow cards already then for the Italians, Benetti and Tardelli, with less than 20 minutes gone. Woodcock trying to inch his way around, and the ball just out of play, and a goal kick. The most distressing thing at the moment, I think, though, Ron, is there doesn't seem to be a great deal of penetration in the England side.
No, it's noticeable that they've gone rigidly man for man. As soon as we come into their half of the field, they pick up and stick like leeches. Keegan, as we said earlier, is working Tardelli all over the pitch, and Woodcock is also doing this. It's a pity, as I said, that young Birtles can't get himself really involved in the game, because I think he could be vital.
Ball still in play, as you can see. Bettega on the far side. Antognoni. Benetti. Causio. Oh, hit straight at Keegan. The crowd won't like that, because Causio is always a target for the crowd, and Sansom couldn't quite keep it in. A throw to Italy. Gentile with it. Scirea to Oriali. Antognoni. Collovati back to Dino Zoff. Oriali. Bettega. Benetti. Keegan after him. Oh, that was Keegan, and there's Bettega looking rather angrily there at Keegan as well. And I think Keegan might be getting a yellow card. No, he's not. The referee was fumbling around there in the top pocket, but there was no yellow card that came out, but there's a free kick for Italy, taken there by Scirea. Bettega's header, and won by Watson. But here's Antognoni. Benetti. Tardelli poking it through, but he had to do it far too quickly to make it accurate. Thompson. With space in the middle of the field here for little Steve Coppel. Gary Birtles has gone away on the right for him. Still Coppel. Little touch there for Kennedy. Now for Woodcock. Oh, and he couldn't control it. There was a half chance coming up there for Woodcock on the turn, but instead of that, it's Graziani racing onto Causio's pass here for Italy. Graziani watched by Watson, and a corner to the Italians. And if you want proof, that's it. They don't plunge many people forward for these corners, just Bettega and Graziani in the English penalty area, though Benetti is just outside it. Oriali's gone in as well, on the deep side there. Watson winning it in the air, Oriali after it. Being shadowed out there by Coppel. Played in again for Benetti, but Keegan lost on that one, and Benetti again, playing it wide this time for Franco Causio for Italy. And that's a goal kick.
Brian, Philip Neal's already signalled his intent by getting himself upfield into some advanced positions. It's a pity young Kenny Sansom can't get up there, because I feel he could be tremendously effective. But Causio's making it difficult. He's blocking off the avenues on this side of the park, and I think towards the end, Sansom's going to have to start forcing a few issues.
Well, it's Thompson on the ball at the moment. Walking pace, as you can see. Keegan with Tardelli, naturally enough. A nice turn there by Woodcock, but unfortunately for him, Collovati was quickly on the scene. Zoff's throw here to Romeo Benetti. Graziani coming very deep, and Wilkins shadowing him, and Wilkins getting the touch there. Coppel taking it on towards Wilkins, and Graziani hit him his throw. Keegan remonstrating with the referee, out of your picture, saying that it was certainly an England throw. Tardelli. Not a good ball. Keegan very deep. Towards Woodcock. Gentile right there with him. It's got to be a free kick. And you can see Tony Woodcock there saying 5 times he's done that to me, talking about the tackling of Gentile on the English number 11, while the referee's given the free kick. And Woodcock has gone sprawling to the ground there. Collision there with Gentile again. Collovati. Gentile. Too high for Bettega. Thompson. Woodcock again, coming off Gentile. This time a lovely little guided header, and Neal taking advantage of it. Unfortunately, Birtles couldn't quite get near, but Woodcock tried again. Wilkins in there. Antognoni. There was a pretty strong challenge by Coppel there as well on Scirea. Antognoni with the pass that comes straight to Kenny Sansom.
Brian, very, very pleased with the way Tony Woodcock's committing himself tonight. Before the tournament started, I had a feeling that he might have been one of the successes of it. And tonight, he's starting to look as if he might well be.
At the moment, though, it's Keegan, chased inevitably by Tardelli. It was throw. Causio's header. Benetti. Causio scooped forward again. That's got to be Dave Watson's ball, but it'll fall nonetheless for Bettega. A little touch here for Antognoni. In turn for Causio. Antognoni, a turn, a look around, spotting men on the far side. Oriali's shot cannoning off Dave Watson for the corner to Italy. Which Causio will take. Graziani in there, Oriali in there, Bettega in there, and very deep is Antognoni, but it wasn't a very good corner. Here's Tardelli. Causio once more onside. A cross coming in, and a good interception that time by Sansom. Keegan trying to get underneath his one, but Tardelli winning it in the air. Watson whacking it away. Collovati. Oh, look at the space down here. Sansom has got into the middle, and fortunately for England, the pass was stayed a little too firmly for Graziani. Watson. Wilkins. Yes, foul by Collovati on Birtles. Free kick to England. Wilkins finding Keegan, looking to turn, finding Sansom, who got up there at last. Birtles looking for the touch and finding Kennedy, played in again there. Birtles playing it on towards Woodcock, trying to get around Gentile, in fact gets it across that 6-yard area. Coppel battling away there with Oriali. Neal's header. Oriali beating Coppel in the air. And back it'll come maybe to Dino Zoff. No. Collovati playing it to Tardelli. Or rather Scirea. Now Causio. Now Collovati. Oriali. Now Collovati. Oriali. Flicked on again towards Bettega. Still Thompson to Peter Shilton. It's an interesting ball there by Watson, play with the outside of his boots, and again we're getting the sight of Phil Neal making a lot of ground down that right touchline. Keegan was the man he tried to find there, having a battle with Tardelli, the linesman flagging on the far side, a free kick.
The Italians seem to have a problem in as much as they don't appear to have any real pace in midfield. This means they're not able to get up and support their front people very quickly. Consequently, their best movements are going to come when they put a lot of combination plays and come the length of the field with passing movements.
Watson again winning it in the air above Graziani. Here's Gary Birtles coming deep. Feeding Woodcock. Gentile is watching him. Support there from Causio. Woodcock may have felt there was an obstruction there. But Causio playing it forward, and Watson should be in command here. Heading it back. Thompson touching it. Wilkins again. He had a terrific game against Belgium, and he's in that same mood tonight. Played wide here for Sansom. Scirea to Zoff.
Vitally important, Brian. We've talked about getting our fullbacks into advanced positions. It's important that when they do get there, they make something happen. You've just seen an example there with Kenny Sansom. When we do get forward, we tended to just throw the ball in a little bit aimlessly.
This is Collovati to Gentile. The sweeper Scirea. Oriali. Benetti. Tardelli. Or rather Oriali there, and having a battle with Keegan. And Keegan comes out limping, and the ball is with Benetti. And the crowd are having a go at Keegan for the limping act. Although I've no doubt that he got a knock there. In the moment, though, it's Antognoni for Italy. Known to have a tremendous shot. I thought he might have tried and poke one then. The cross coming in there and an offside against Graziani. Enzo Berzot. A little bit worried. A throw to England. No, it's a free kick. Well, East England thought it was a free kick, but the Italians and the referee both... No, it is a free kick. No, it's not. Number 11 is Benetti. Oh, and Woodcock taking advantage, well, almost getting advantage there of that mistake by Scirea. A free kick to England. The Italian defenders are usually so positive, and he was hanging onto that ball, and Woodcock very nearly got the better of him. A free kick. An interesting position. It couldn't be more central. It's about 22, 23 yards out. And Zoff's been beaten with long-range free kicks before now in the World Cup from longer range than this. Now, can England pierce this Italian wall of blue? Wilkins, Woodcock and Keegan are over it. 2, 4, 6 in the wall. Woodcock hitting it straight to the wall. Keegan trying to hammer it back at them. It's Neal. Crossed in once more there towards Kennedy, but Benetti getting it away. Now Gentile. Causio. And the feet of Watson too high. A free kick to the Italians. 10 minutes to go to half-time, no goals.
Watson at the moment's been a giant for England. Looks to be under no trouble at all, has dealt with everything comfortably, and he's going to be a vital player, certainly, if we're going to get the result we want.
It's Causio for Italy at the moment, though. Space here for Benetti, but I doubt if he's got the pace to get the better of Sansom. Well, he certainly handled the ball as well, and that's a free kick to England. Wilkins. Sansom. This is Coppel. Chased by Oriali. England's throw. Played for Kennedy. Back this time for Sansom. Deep on the far side. It's Neal, of course. Thompson, all the time in the world to measure up something here. Birtles, very active and trying to make something of it. In fact, gets the ball back to Phil Neal. Played in again towards Woodcock, and Keegan trying to get in there before Zoff, and there was a little nudge in the back on Woodcock as he went in there.
I don't think it was more than a little nudge. I got the impression that could well have been a penalty there.
But sadly, we're not going to see it replayed, Ron, so we can't judge it. A handball there by Coppel, England claiming it was accidental, the Romanian referee having none of it and giving the free kick to Italy. Causio. Benetti. Oriali. Collovati. Scirea coming forward from the back. Benetti again. And a good challenge there by Sansom. Firm and very fair. And effective. A throw to Italy which the crowd don't like. In fact, Berzot even got up off his bench in annoyance at the Romanian should have given that throw to England. Good sharp challenge just a moment ago by Ken Sansom. Nothing like letting a forward know you're around and quickly. Keegan. Wilkins. Remember, Ray Wilkins' first appearance for England was in a particularly spiteful match against Italy in New York. Played a marvellous game when England won, if I remember rightly, 3-2, and a fellow called Mick Shannon got a couple of goals that night. And Graziani got 2 for Italy as well, who's on the field here for Italy, number 20. Tardelli, and it's a throw to Italy. Bettega with it. I think English fans are quite happy to see Bettega taking throws inside his own half. Scirea. Oh, Thompson and Watson, a slight misunderstanding there. Dangerous thing to say, Ron, but after the first few minutes, England in defence haven't looked to be in any great trouble.
No, I was thinking about Bettega and Graziani. They don't look as if they're going to have the pace to trouble Watson and Thompson an awful lot. I know when they get around the penalty box, they've got a lot of instant skill, but at the moment, our lads at the back are dealing very, very comfortably.
Well, here's one of those lads at the back, Phil Thompson, coming forward now with a cross which the Italians had not a lot of trouble getting rid of. It's Causio. And now Bettega. Just look how deep he is. And losing that challenge to Ray Wilkins. And a fair challenge and a good piece of football there by England's number 6. Finding his Manchester United teammate Steve Coppel. Here's Phil Neal. Back for Wilkins again. Thompson's inside and available. He's come right forward. Woodcock versus Gentile. We don't really seem to be able to play that incisive ball into the box at the moment.
No, he's just getting thrown in a little bit, hoping it makes people. Having said that, they're occupying good defensive positions at the back. I feel a little bit sorry for young Birtles at the moment. As I said earlier, he's doing an awful lot of running off the ball, but at the moment he can't lose his marker. He's got to persist in this, as he did in Hamburg, and probably the longer the game goes, it might well be that he can shake up his marker.
Benetti crossing it in, Thompson getting it away. Antognoni. Off the hands of Phil Neal and a free kick. No, I thought the referee had given it, and so did the Italians, and they're angry that he hasn't. A definite change of mind there. They seemed to indicate that Phil Neal had handled the ball. A free kick to Italy, I think now, though, inside their own half, which Gentile will take. Oriali. Bettega. Oh, Tardelli. Wilkins has gone with him, forcing him away out there. But there are lots of blue shirts in the middle, but there's Keegan back as well. Scirea. And again, they're pushing a lot of men forward. Scirea's come up from the back once more to take that pass. There's his cross coming in towards Graziani. Benetti will pick it up on this side. And not do very much with it. Goal kick to England, 5 minutes to go to half-time. Sansom for England. Wilkins. In a funny sort of way, Ron, I think a draw would, if it becomes a draw in the end, would suit England rather more than it would suit Enzo Bearzot and Italy.
Yes, I think
the Italians still have to play Belgium, who look as though they might be the strongest side in the group at the moment. Whereas England have yet to play Spain, who must be a little bit demoralised at the moment. Is there a chance from that?
Brian, could there have been a suggestion of offside there? It looked very much like it to me.
I don't think gave it, though, did he? While we were watching a replay, that was a good, authentic save by Peter Shilton. And a terrible miss by the two Italians. Thompson. Little touch there by Keegan towards Coppel, but Scirea was there. It was a fantastic cross by Antognoni, though.
Yes, this is something he's particularly adept at. As I say, I thought there was a suggestion offside, but full marks to Shilton. He dived in where there's a few boots flying.
Free kick to Italy. Tardelli and Keegan. I've got to say, off the field, they are two of the most amiable fellows you could meet. Von Greenwood there in the spectacles. But certainly when he gets on a football field, Tardelli leaves all courtesies behind and he really gets the tackles in. But at the moment it's Antognoni. Here's Claudio Gentile. Scirea. Graziani, Watson's header, no foul, but Antognoni's there. What a good ball he played there for Causio. Wilkins battling with Causio. Free kick already taken. Oriali played there for Graziani. Back for Oriali again, just keeping it in. And then he hits it straight at Coppel, gets it away, thankfully into touch by the Italian bench. Benetti with the throw. Here's Antognoni. This could be danger. Oh, a lovely ball played inside. And again, the save by Shilton. My word, Antognoni, absolutely terrific there, and Scirea had come right forward and very, very nearly made it, but now Coppel, or rather Woodcock, chasing away at the other end with Gentile, and a free kick.
Brian, it's pretty apparent now that both sides realise that a draw is no good to them, and they're going at it hammer and tongs.
It worries me a little bit the way that Scirea has twice now come up from the back and twice missed chances, but hasn't been picked up either.
Well, this is one of the great things about a sweeper doing his job properly. This is the way they do it out on the continent. The sweeper gets the licence to break through in the hope that he won't get picked up.
And another great ball from Antognoni that set Scirea on his way.
Well, at the moment, you probably might think Kenny Sansom was a little bit naive defensively, but that for me has got to be the ball of the tournament at the end.
But now here's Oriali. That looks as though it may have been handball by him, but the referee hasn't given it. And that's an interception by Phil Thompson, which is timely. Birtles. Whistle, free kick to England. Bit of a breather. Fellow Oriali has made some terrific runs. He was the man in close up there a moment ago. A really engrossing battle at the moment, and it couldn't be more finely balanced. The chances have come Italy's way, and yet it's England who've hit the post. Thompson playing it on, Woodcock nodding it in, Scirea right back there again. Woodcock and Gentile and Graziani here. If he's going to start anything, it's got to start from deep. Neal going with him, still Graziani. Oh, look at that, given straight to Ray Kennedy. Got Sansom outside him and Birtles too. Kennedy's shot, goal kick.
What could quite considerably happen here, Brian, as both teams commit themselves more and more forward, is that the people like Bettega, Graziani and of course Birtles for England are going to get more space to play in, and I think we could see the best of their performances come in the latter part of the game.
Well, here's Zoff with the goal kick for Italy. Just over a quarter of an hour of the second half gone, still 0-0. Watson up again like a giant. And an Italian down and injured, but the referee's given nothing. Graziani. But here's Keegan. Oriali's after him, and the ball out of play.
Brian, we've talked about Antognoni, and rightly so, because he's at times looked a superb player, but I think it should be mentioned about Ray Wilkins. In possession, I don't think he's hardly given a ball away tonight.
Kennedy, Woodcock. No, he's had a great game, Ray Wilkins, and here's Benetti with the throw. Antognoni. Good ball there, played for Franco Causio. Here come Italy again. A little chip in there and nodded away quite comfortably that time by Phil Neal. Antognoni to this side of the field now, and Coppel right back there, giving away the corner though. So it's a corner for Italy. Bettega and Graziani in there, Tardelli's in there too. Antognoni is very deep, and Keegan gets it away. Woodcock's after it. Gentile is there. And Gentile finding Scirea. Collovati. Tardelli. Thompson. Coppel. Oriali to Bettega. Tardelli. Antognoni, the long ball forward too far this time for Graziani. Ron?
Brian, since they came out at half-time, been one sort of discouraging thing from England's point of view is the fact that Kevin Keegan appears to have been forced back into that little negative midfield role. That
where we see him now. We see him there now, very deep indeed.
Yes, and I'm just wondering how much of this is due to Tardelli forcing him back, or whether he's gone there looking for the ball. Certainly I'd like to see him, like most of us would have, way up front trying to force issues against their back four.
Ball out of play. The throw to Italy. No, it's a free kick. Already taken. Thompson. Wilkins. We put Thompson in a bit of trouble there, did Wilkins, but here's Phil Neal. Thompson and Graziani. Oriali. Graziani. Come for Causio. Bettega's in the middle. And Tardelli. Well, they managed to keep him away, but only for as far as Antognoni. And now Graziani with a shot. Low kick. But just for a moment there, at this moment here, England were in a bit of trouble, there's no doubt about it. And then Graziani plays it wildly over the top.
Brian, I think if I was Ron Greenwood now, I think I'd be a little bit tempted to make a change. I think I'd be a little bit tempted to bring Glenn Hoddle on and possibly push Keegan up front in place of Stevie Coppel.
It's Italy's throw. Well, I must say there are no signs on either bench at the moment of any substitutions being made. Just halfway through the second half now. Antognoni. Bettega. Graziani's in there. Here's Benetti, though. As the blue shirts come swarming forward again. Causio on the outside. Good crosser of a ball normally. That's an interesting cross as well, but Shilton was the master of it. Neal for England. Wilkins. Woodcock coming off his marker again, Gentile. That was a little spurt that he made. It's with Neal again. Woodcock's gone back into the middle and Gentile's in there with him. Here's Phil Thompson well forward. Keegan on the far touchline shouting for the ball. Wilkins, but on this touchline it's Neal. Now, can he find a good cross? Well, Collovati's behind that one. Wilkins, the little touch again. A nice touch it was too. Forward this time towards Birtles. And a throw to Italy. Collovati down, but the game will have to go on with him off the field. Okay. Goal kick. Oriali with the throw. Scirea the sweeper. And yet the man who's had maybe the two of the three good chances that Italy have had. While Collovati's getting a drink of water on the touchline. Right in front of the linesman too. Keegan battling with Benetti. Birtles. Collovati a little too quick for him. But England's throw with 20 minutes left. Neal, Woodcock, look at Gentile after him again. No doubt who's going to have most bruises on their body at the end of the night, Ron. Tony Woodcock.
Yes, he's certainly taken a lot of hammer, as indeed as the boy Birtles. Getting back to that question of a substitute, I will maintain, Brian, that substitution is possibly the hardest part of any manager's job. It's very, very difficult. It can be so right or so wrong. But I do feel there's a need for a gamble now. A draw, I don't feel is of any use at all to us. We've got to try and win this game to have any chance of going to the final.
All sorts of permutations, of course. Reminding you, if you've just joined us, that Belgium have won their match in this group, having beaten Spain earlier today by 2-1, which means they lead the group with 3 points. England and Italy each with 1 at the moment. And certainly the Italians are not going to find the Belgians easy meat in Rome on Wednesday, when England play Spain in Naples. Bettega for Italy. Laying it on once more, and that's that man Scirea gone right forward once more. And in the end, it comes straight through quite simply to Peter Shilton. Wilkins with the throw for England. Coppel trying to sneak his way through there, brought down by Oriali. Free kick to England. Wilkins with it. Floated in there, and Zoff stayed on his line a long, long time as that ball crossed his area, and it's a goal kick.
We've criticised Scirea for missing a couple of the best chances the Italians have had, but I think we should also give him credit by virtue of the fact he's managed to force himself the length of the field, and you know, that's a bit refreshing. This is one thing that the Continentals have as an advantage over our central defenders in our country.
Well, Watson missed that header. Oh, and Thompson. But it's through safely once more to Shilton. And a throw out to Phil Neal. Watson. And now Benetti. Oriali was tangling with Wilkins, and now it's Benetti. Here's Scirea. Coppel shadowing him. Oriali. Paul Mariner warming up for England, incidentally. He's had such a very good game against Scotland at Hampden Park. And now it's Kennedy. Birtles going outside him, but losing it to Antognoni. Eventually finding Antognoni. Antognoni. Tardelli's out there supporting him. Here's Benetti. Still Benetti. Trying to get all the way, and in the end it was, I think, Dave Watson again. Yes, it was Watson who got that one away as well. Neal battling away there. But now Bettega trying to run his way right through that England defence. Oriali. Blue shirts are forward again. Here's Causio. Antognoni on the far side, but showed just a little too much of it to Kennedy. Tardelli playing it in here, but here's Thompson. That wasn't a good ball by Tardelli, and a long ball forward, maybe if it had just cleared Gentile, Woodcock could have had a chase. But as it is, he finds Wilkins, and on the far side is Kenny Sansom. Look at the space for him out there. Now, can England make something of this? There's a long, long cross coming in, and Wilkins coming on the far side, and straight at Zoff. Well-guided header. And a lovely cross here by Kenny Sansom. You saw him look up there, pick out Wilkins on the far side. Antognoni. Graziani. Mariner's got his tracksuit bottom off now. Won't be long before he's on. Scirea. Oriali to Scirea again. Causio supporting him. Here's Causio. Deep on the far side towards Graziani. Bettega's there waiting as well. Antognoni. And a goal kick.
I should think by virtue of the fact that the Mariners stripping off round means that probably curtains for Gary Birtles. First half worked tremendously hard. Second half, he hasn't had too many breaks, and I think it probably will mean the end of the game for him now.
They're looking to bring him on, and bringing him on now. Let's see. It's Gary Birtles coming off, and Paul Mariner coming on. Well, you can't argue anything other than that Gary Birtles has battled away like a good one tonight. Been so tightly marked the whole time. But now it's Mariner. And I imagine they'll be trying to push a few balls in the air towards Paul Mariner as well now.
Yes, so I think that's essential that we get Neal and Sansom in advanced positions, because they basically are the guys that are going to be putting the ball in. We saw then when Sansom made that break just a few moments ago, how effective he can be when he gets forward.
Linesman and referee not happy with that throw. Inside the last quarter of an hour. And in fact it's a throw to Italy. Antognoni with it. Dogged little fellow, Steve Coppel, and in the end he forced Antognoni into an error. Coppel again. Kennedy and Keegan are on the far side. If that long ball could have been found for them. Neal tangling just a little too violently with Gentile, and a free kick to Italy. Scirea. Hit high towards Graziani. Bettega's in there. Watson. Wilkins. Kennedy. Ooh, Kennedy slipped. And the Italians could be on their way. Sadly for them, it was the man with least pace of all, Romeo Benetti. And England get a throw. Sansom with it.
I think that's an important thing about that, Brian, is the fact that we can push forward from the back, because they're not overloaded with pace, and we've always got a chance of catching. We've always got a chance of getting back behind the ball if they do break against us. Kevin Keegan didn't see that ball coming towards him. Had to
change direction quickly. The ball from Phil Thompson. It's back with Thompson again now. And now Wilkins. Italians have got everybody back behind the ball. Still 0-0 though, with about 12 minutes left. Mariner's first real touch that, and it didn't come off for him. Causio. Benetti. Causio, very deep.
Got to give full marks for them. That was a superb piece of finishing from their point of view. And in actual fact, Tardelli has possibly deserved that because he's actually won his little battle with Keegan. I was getting the picture that Keegan was perhaps beginning to get a little bit jaded, and that goes and happens.
10 minutes from the end, and the Italians have scored a crushing blow. Marco Tardelli, and tipped over there, a long shot from Ray Wilkins by Dino Zoff. England's corner. Woodcock with it. Played for Neal. Flipped in towards Watson. Kennedy on the far side. That should be no problem. It's a goal kick.
Tremendous test of character now, Brian. I think people like Wilkins now have got to stop sitting in the midfield now, start trying to break forward and just take chances now. It's no good just sitting back and waiting for the game. We've got to go and make it all happen.
Watson. Mariner. Gentile. And a free kick to England. No, he's given it to Italy. Problem there, I think, between Keegan and Tardelli that the referee was sorting out. And Gentile and Woodcock, you can see there having a little set too. Thompson up well. Coppel. Woodcock. Shuddering challenge in the back there by Gentile. Woodcock picks himself up in pain, and Graziani goes through for Italy now. Causio playing it through there for Oriali. Watson away. Antognoni. Bettega. Coppel. And Gentile getting in before Woodcock. A throw to England. Enzo Bearzot telling his men to get back, and preserve the lead they've won. Woodcock. Gentile right there with him again. Causio having a snap at him too. Played there for Neal. Here's Woodcock. Paul Mariner trying to have a go, but Woodcock was flattened there by, I think it was Antognoni. In the meantime, it's Scirea who's come up from the back again. Bettega's in the middle. And Watson concedes the corner. Seven minutes left now. And the Italians apparently not wanting to take this corner.
Brian, Scirea is causing us an awful lot of problems now. He's making these breaks from the back, and it's very, very hard for anyone to pick him up. One of the strikers doesn't break back with him. One of the midfield players has got to cut him out, and that isn't happening at the moment.
Corner then for Italy. Causio with it. Thompson's header away. Benetti flicking it wide here. Oriali not able to keep it in. England throw. It's with Keegan. Ironic, really, that the man who's been marking Keegan, regarded as our best player, is the man who's got away and scored the only goal of the game.
Yes, they've certainly seized the initiative. They've pushed forward from the back. They've made some of our front players go back. Coppel, I don't think, hardly been in the attacking half since the interval. Keegan, as we've said, has gone into those little negative areas. And really, this is a period of time when we want to be playing in their half of the field. But full credit to the Italians. They've played well the second half.
Neal now, the long high cross towards Paul Mariner. And a goal kick. The first time Mariner's been able to get anything in the air. One of the Italians gone down with cramp. I can only hope that the Romanian referee is adding on time. It's Collovati. 5 minutes left. Enzo Berzot. Warming up there, Mauro Bellucci, a defender. Well, the referee's looking at his watch. I just hope he's going to add on sufficient time. Because we're inside the last 5 minutes. The Zoff takes this goal kick for Italy. And the place is alive with shouting now, with Italy having taken that lead through Tardelli. Watson beaten in the air that time by Graziani. Sansom playing it back to Shilton, who really had no chance whatsoever with that shot from close range by Tardelli. Woodcock. Throw to Italy. Wilkins throwing the ball there at Bettega in his frustration, and the referee, don't know whether he's going to have a word with Ray Wilkins. I think probably he is, and he's telling Wilkins to cut that out. But there's a lot of frustration in this England side because, to be honest with you, some of the tackling by the Italians from behind, particularly Gentile on Woodcock, and Tardelli earlier, as we saw on Keegan, has been absolutely cynical. Added to which you have to say that they've also played very well. Shake of the hands there between Wilkins and Bettega. And Neal on the ball for England. Woodcock trying to turn Gentile again. Oh, a nice little backfield there for Phil Neal. England throw. It was Causio who closed quickly on the English fullback. It's with Wilkins now. Can he find a good teasing little cross to get in there? Sampson's come up. Kennedy was in there. Had no luck whatsoever. And it was Graziani who was grateful just for the opportunity of whacking it away into the English half of the field. About 2.5 minutes to go, plus time to be added on.
Well, the Italians, Brian, they're the best in the world, aren't they, when they're defending a lead. They'll fall back, they'll break the game up, they'll feign injury, they'll do everything possible to try and break the England rhythm.
Keegan right up at the front again now. Italians are looking to bring on a substitute. Baresi, who's a young midfield player. And it's Causio who's coming off. Arms round his manager, who had faith in him when the fans and the press had none after that game against Spain. So Causio is off, Baresi is on. Italy are leading by a goal to nil, and we're inside the last 2 minutes. With Tardelli the scorer. Thompson up. Kennedy in. Sansom forward. Woodcock. And wherever he's gone, Gentile's gone with him. Watson. Wilkins. Thompson. Whistles from the crowd shows a certain anxiety there. Graziani battling with Sansom, but Mariner, lovely skills on the ground by Mariner, and he's got Sansom to the byline. The little cross coming in. Is there anybody going to be there? Keegan an overhead, and Zoff a punch away, and it's in. No, it's not. I thought for a moment it had gone into the back of the net there. Little Kenny Sansom right in there, but not getting what he wanted. Except it's a corner for England. In the last minute of the game, plus time to be added on. A corner for England. Watson jumping, and a goal kick.
That only emphasises, Brown, what we were saying earlier about if we can get Sansom forward, he's very, very adept at making things happen. That was a first-class example.
The last seconds. Zoff with the kick. Watson forward again. Woodcock versus Gentile yet again. Coppel chasing it away into touch. England's throw. Got to be taken quickly. Woodcock at last getting away from Gentile. The cross coming in there. And Zoff reaching, losing it. And a free kick. A foul on the goalkeeper. Minute of time added on. 0. And the shouting has only begun tonight. A terrible blow for England and their hopes in the European Championship, but one that puts Italy on a par at the top of this group with Belgium. Disappointment then on a night of great tension for England. And as Berzot goes off, arm in arm with the men who've helped to give...
So England's hopes of glory after 10 years in the shadows dashed by a single goal, and this is the sad story that the Group 2 table now shows. Belgium lead with their win over Spain this afternoon, Italy there, and it all...